He should speak out that this is a corrupt, flawed sham of an election. The Iranian people have been deprived of their rights. We support them in their struggle against a repressive, oppressive regime, and they should not be subjected to 4 more years of Ahmadinejad and the radical Muslim clerics.
Well, that's Senator John McCain criticizing President Obama for not speaking out stronger against the crisis in Iran. We're back with Lawrence O'Donnell and Ryan Lizza with more of the politics flicks. You know, McCain just gets further and further into Lieberman country, further and further into that far-right mentality about everything is simple and Manichaean, and all you have to do is push that idiot button now. I don't know why he's doing it.
Right.
Ryan, why is he talking like that when he knows that it's complicated, and the worst thing we can do is get involved over there?
Right. It's very clarifying to see him say that and how he would have acted as president versus what Obama's doing, which is frankly very nuanced, being very careful not to be the issue. And the last thing the American government wants is to be the issue in the streets right now. You don't want Ahmadinejad to be able to say, see, the reformers on the side of the U.S.
That would have bombed Cuba in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
He's being very careful.
I'm talking about McCain.
Right, absolutely right. Just and everything's black and white. Obama's saying, look, we have to be careful. I support in principle their right to dissent. We want to get to the bottom of what happened in this election. But at the same time, America has a history here, and we don't want to be the issue there. I think
Lawrence, I gotta wonder. Right. I do go back to the Cold War's way of looking at this. Khrushchev may have been rooting for Kennedy. He knew not to say anything in a totally morally different situation. The worst thing our president can do is start rooting for the other side over there, because then they'll stop rooting for their side. They'll say, we're not dupes.
And John McCain does actually know that. What you're seeing here is just the difference between a senator's position and a president's position. If McCain was president, I am absolutely convinced he would take the presidential position on this kind of thing, which has always been consistent, always. We don't go into this kind of condemnation from the presidential perspective ever in these situations. The president always keeps his head, whether it's Democrat or Republican, in these situations. Senators always shoot off their mouths in these situations. It's classic.
I disagree.
I think McCain's just ticked off.
I think McCain is representing a certain view on the
right.
I know this is a loaded term now, but the neoconservative right, it used to mean something. And Lawrence, if that was the view, we would have thought that George Bush never would have listened to the folks in his administration that say, "Oh, you go in and take out Saddam Hussein." That's just the
the comparable event was, what do you do when China takes down one of your planes? What did George Bush do? He didn't do any saber rattling. He just did a very careful, slow, presidential, exactly what a Democratic president would have done, a presidential treatment of the situation. You see Democrats do it with trade. They always say, we're going to reopen NAFTA. No, they're not. Well, not when they become president, they're not. They shut up about it.
Okay, yeah, let me try to get to your left. Let me try to get to your left, Lawrence, because I feel like getting over there tonight. Snuggling over to your left, Lawrence O'Donnell, because I disagree with you. I think there's become this new idiot button on the right, where you have to punch this button in order to be considered a real conservative now. But Obama's a socialist on health care. He's a socialist. All his fiscal programs are insanely socialistic. You have to punch that button, and you got to say this election was bogus. You got to punch that button. If you don't talk in that right-wing idiot talk, you're not considered a conservative anymore. The idea of being a thoughtful person is wrong now politically on that side of the aisle. That's where I think it's going.
I completely agree with you, and what I'm saying is John McCain is actually more thoughtful than his public statements.
I know. I agree.
Boy, there's a presumption of innocence that I haven't heard in a while.